All right, good evening. Happy 4th. So I'm going to try another live stream, see if it actually works. Otherwise, I'll just do a video. So I guess it's a cat and mouse thing when it comes to immigration and ICE. So let me just see if this will actually share.
The department filed a lawsuit against sanctuary city policies in Los Angeles following the recent lawlessness and the riots that have plagued that city. And last week, the DOJ filed a complaint against Minnesota, challenging laws providing in-state tuition benefits to illegal immigrants. Still, Democrats are going way out of their way to resist everything that President Trump does. One software developer has now created an app to warn people when ICE agents are nearby. And this morning, fake news CNN here to promote the app. How nice of them. Take a look.
I talked with Joshua Aaron, who is the longtime tech worker who developed this platform, and he said he really wants it to be an early warning system for people about the location of Immigrations and Customs Enforcement officers. So he says he does not want people interfering with those officers' activity, but he does want people to be able to avoid them altogether. You open the app, it looks like a map, and users can tap the map to report an ICE sighting in their area. And then everybody who uses the platform within 5 miles of that sighting will get a push alert. This is a free iPhone app. It is anonymous. Aaron says he doesn't collect any user data.
And meanwhile, President Trump is set to visit the grand opening of what is now being dubbed Alligator Alcatraz. That is a detention center in the Everglades for illegal immigrants. And the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, is with us with more. Madam Attorney General, great to have you, as always. Let's start with these lawsuits, the one against Los Angeles and last week in Minnesota.
Yeah, it was Sean, where, in Los Angeles, what LA was doing, and we also sued Karen Bass, the mayor, directly. What they were doing is they were prioritizing illegal aliens over American citizens, and you cannot do that. These sanctuary policies are the root of the cause of violent crime in our country, in LA. We saw it with the riots. We had to send out DEA, FBI, ATF, our U.S. Marshals, jeopardize their safety to help enforce the laws of Los Angeles. We are
really
not
illegal
going we're not going to protect illegal aliens over Americans. No longer. It's stopped. We have sued New York, Illinois, Colorado, New Jersey, and now we've sued Los Angeles, and we will continue to sue you if you do not follow the laws of our country.
Well, Mamdani, I noticed, made that pledge about not helping or following the law. We do have the supremacy clause in the Constitution. They do have jurisdiction, is my understanding.
This comment is not wrong.
The same for every sanctuary city or state?
Yeah, and what Davi is saying in New York is utterly ridiculous. It's making mainstream anti-Semitism, Sean. This guy is out of control. What he's been doing, what he's been saying, he wanted to defund, do away with NYPD. It's so frightening. And the things about anti-Semitism should scare us all, given what happened with the Holocaust Museum, given what happened in Boulder, Colorado, and we just lost that victim, as you know, the 82-year-old victim who was firebombed, given what happened in the UK with that concert saying all these anti-Semitic things. Someone like that is very dangerous, not only for New York, but for our entire country. So we're going to keep fighting for the citizens of these cities. If these mayors and these candidates for mayors won't do it, Donald Trump will, including Tim Walz, Governor Tim Walz in Minnesota.
Let's talk about, the administration racked up a series of very powerful decisions last week, including the nationwide injunction. Let's go through the importance of those decisions and how it impacts the administration.
Well, it impacts.
Let's watch this one.
That's right. As a matter of fact, we downloaded ICE Block today, and we've been monitoring it all day. Now, the Trump administration says it is looking to prosecute the app developer and at least one media outlet that reported on it. Incidents like this one in San Francisco from last week, where crowds showed up to confront immigration officials, are becoming more common as the Trump administration continues to push for 3,000 arrests per day. Now, technology may come into play with an app called IceBlock. Joshua Aaron, the app developer, said it allows users to post the location of immigration officers conducting arrests or other activity.
You can put them in the app. You can basically drop a pin, if you will. We call it reporting sighting, and it's just to alert others around you within a 5-mile radius. And the goal is to inform, not obstruct. We say that multiple times in the app.
Aaron first posted IceBlock to the App Store in the beginning of April. It has now grown tremendously in popularity, so much so the Trump administration has taken notice. Attorney General Pam Bondi has warned Aaron to, quote, watch out, that he may be.
So
On
it's
the heels of
basically
the huge Supreme Court ruling. Right now, President Trump
So,
on
yes,
route to Florida
it's
to
a
attend
cat
the
and
opening
mouse
of
game.
Alligator Alcatraz.
And this is Fox, all Fox News. I know they're pretty biased. Everything's biased.
I guess that's the concept. This is not a nice business. I guess that's the concept. If the snakes are fast, but alligators are big. We're going to teach them how to run away from an alligator, okay? If they escape prison, how to run away. Don't run in a straight line. Run like this. And you know what? Your chances go up about 1%. Okay? Not a good thing.
Well, that's tough stuff. Joining us now is Border Czar Tom Homan. Tom, let me digress for a second. Yesterday on this program, Florida Congressman Carlos Jimenez said he wants you to focus on criminal migrants. He says South Florida needs the others, that is, non-violent criminal migrants, to stay and work. What do you say to that?
Well, if he's a member of Congress and fix the immigration system, that's his responsibility. ICE is enforcing laws enacted by Congress. They're not making this up. It's violation of federal law to enter this country illegally. It's illegal. To be here illegally is not okay. It's in violation of law, and ICE is simply out there arresting those who are in the country illegally. But let's get back to from day one, we've been concentrating on public safety threats and national security threats. That's what we're focusing on. But in the process of doing that, if we find somebody illegally in the United States that's not a criminal threat, well, they're going to be arrested and put in front of an immigration judge. That's what federal law requires. ICE isn't making this up. They're enforcing the law.
So you could go on a work raid, for example, an employment raid, and pick up people outside of Home Depot, take them away immediately, put them in the Alcatraz Everglades or whatever it's called, and that's okay? I think there might be a political backlash to that.
No, we are concentrating public safety threats and national security threats. But then again, like I said, when we're out looking for the criminals, many times we find collaterals that that are arrested because they're in sanctuary jurisdictions. Most of the collaterals arrested in sanctuary jurisdictions do it because we're forced into the neighborhood. They don't give us access to bad guy in the county jail. But I said from day one, if you're in the country illegally, you're not off the table. It's not okay to enter this country illegally. It is a crime. It's not okay to knowingly hurt the illegal alien, because no one hurts an illegal alien out of goodness of their heart. They're harder because they work them harder, pay them less, and undercut their competition who has U.S. citizen employees.
He's not wrong on that one.
Labor rates. So we're focusing.
There are
on
exceptions to the rule. Don't get me wrong.
You're not.
I've worked in labor companies.
Apology. We need to send a message to the whole world. It's not okay to enter this country illegally. It's not okay to ignore a judge's order. Most of the non-criminals we're looking for, we have a final order removal issued by a federal immigration judge. If those orders don't mean anything, we don't execute, then what the hell are we doing? Just shut down immigration court doesn't mean anything anymore. Take the border patrol off the border, because the message we're sending to the whole world is, go ahead and enter the country illegally. It's a crime, but don't worry about it. As long as you don't commit another crime after being here, you're off the table. That's not the message we got to send the whole world, because you'll never fix the system doing it that way.
There is an investigation, we understand, into AOC and a worker for AOC who may be an illegal migrant. And it is reported that she may have been advising this migrant how to avoid ICE. If this is accurate, and it turns out to be true, and she is employing an illegal, what will you do?
Well, look, I know that information came to ICE a few days ago. I know they're going down. I don't know the specifics of the case. It depends on what they discover. Now, is the person actually illegal in the United States? Are they here on DACA? Are they here in some sort of temporary protected status? I don't want to get ahead of the investigation, because a lot of times this information is bad once they drill down into it. So I'm not going to comment on that until ICE has a chance to dig down and find out exactly what the issue is.
Okay, Tom. The White House is calling out CNN and that ICE spotting app that shows agents' locations on a map. Watch this, please.
There's been a 500% increase in violence against ICE agents, law enforcement officers across the country who are just simply trying to do their jobs and remove public safety threats from our communities. And that's something we as Americans, including journalists at CNN who live in many of these cities where illegal aliens are hiding, certainly it's unacceptable that a major network would promote such an app that is encouraging violence against law enforcement officers who are trying to keep our country safe.
But Tom Homan, the question is, does that app interfere with deportations? And if so, what do you do about it?
Absolutely does, and it angers me. Look, I've been doing this since 1984, Stu. I've been doing this longer than anybody around here, and I just can't believe we're in a place where, you know, a TV network like CNN is talking about this app and educating people on the existence of this app. Unless ICE law enforcement officers, like I said earlier, they are concentrating on public safety threats and national security threats. This is a dangerous job, and this app is going to give the bad guy heads up that we're coming, which means more bad guys are going to escape arrest, which makes this country less safe, which is a public safety issue. And on top of that, it's only a matter of time for a bad guy, which is like someone who threw a Molotov cocktail at officers in LA, who the assaults against ICE officers up over 500%. It's a matter of time before someone uses this app and ambushes ICE officers. This is something we cannot tolerate, we can't stand for. So we're calling now, and I'm begging the Department of Justice to look into this and hold people accountable. This puts ICE officers at great risk.
U.S. Immigration
last but not least,
sending a really strong message about ICE spotting apps.
Government officials calling them reckless and irresponsible after they were promoted by a national cable news network. Fox News' Ingrid Kelly with this story.
Sending an alert through a mobile app.
The person who created the app put out a warning or a disclaimer and said, this is for informational purposes only.
So this one's kind of flood the app with bogus sightings.
Spotting apps being used across the country to report and track locations of immigration and customs enforcement agents as immigration raids continue.
The application itself is a matter of freedom of speech.
But the ICE acting director is speaking out after he says a news outlet promoted the app during its broadcast.
As citizens of this country, we can make statements as we're.
See, this is what I've been saying.
And I also think that CNN they can report it, freedom of the press as well.
The acting director for ICE issued a statement which reads in part, advertising an app that basically paints a target on federal law enforcement officers' backs is sickening. My officers and agents are already facing a 500% increase in assaults.
All right, so apparently, yeah, Megan, it's a cat and mouse game between undocumenteds, hiding them, trying to arrest them, blah, blah, blah. I know I recently saw, there was an article about a Mexican boxer who got deported.
Poland is gearing up for.
I guess he had, some other crime, unrelated to, his documentation status. It's pretty messed up that, we're living in this cat and mouse game, for, immigrants. And it's just going to get worse, and the fact that people are using apps, to do that and, flooding the apps with fake sightings, get a parking spot, get a job. That's just basically where we're at right now. I think all this is just probably distracting us, from the, from what's really going on. But let me just play this last clip, unrelated, but
for war. People are being mobilized, borders fortified, weapons built.
Poland is looking to make itself ready for a potential invasion.
Earlier this week, NATO countries agreed to lift their defense spending to 5% of GDP by the year 2035. But Poland will reach that spending target by next year.
Polish history has been marked by invasions. Its location in Europe has made it vulnerable to foreign aggressors for generations. But now with a conflict next door,
involving an increasingly unpredictable Russia. The government here says it's doing everything it can to prevent Poland being captured yet again. On the outskirts of Warsaw, a recruitment drive with a difference.
Jestem tutaj dlatego, że
I'm here because I want to learn the basics of military service. I'm interested in it, especially since Russia attacked Ukraine.
All right, so maybe we should take a page out of how Poland handles stuff. What do you think? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'll talk to you.